Philippe Boucly, welcome. Uday Narang, welcome. Thanks for being here. We are at Hyvolution 2024. Could you introduce yourself, please, guys?
I'm Philippe Boucly, the president of France Hydrogène. France Hydrogène is a French association which brings together all the players for hydrogen in France. So we enjoy a very big dynamism. We have been 120 members by 2019, and now we have more than 460 members. So we have a lot of projects in France, and we are developing hydrogen in France with also strong links, more and more links with foreign lenders. And of course, we look with India, with Chile, with Canada. So we try to develop our activity all over the world.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Uday Narang, and first of all, I'm the founder and chairman of Omega Seiki Mobility, one of India's biggest commercial electric vehicle companies. But what I'm here today, and I'm very proud to be in this great country and to be in France, and especially in this pretty beautiful, beautiful city, Paris. But I'm more excited that we are working, an Indo-French partnership with a new company called Hydrogen Intelligence, where we have got Indian technology, and we've got all these great young, dynamic, beautiful French, minds. I think, what it tells us today is if we really want to build and we want to make a change, and if France wants to make a change, it's these young people that are standing in front of us that are going to lead the charge. I hope young guys like you are also going to help, and an older guy like me is going to be behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Uday. I would like to start to understand better the Indian market. Could you talk about India? Could you talk about this huge market that can be addressed? And could you talk about how we can address this market? Thank you.
Sure. I'll tell you what, maybe, I spent 35 years between the US and the United States, and then between Europe and the United States. I was living in my home in Switzerland. I decided, look, with my Indian heritage, I thought, let's look at India. And let me say this today. It's 1.4 billion people, but it's not just the 1.4 billion people. 35% of the population under the age of 25. Look at the numbers. The numbers are very important. 65% of the population under the age of 35. A consumption-based economy. An economy that needs change. An economy, 31 of the most polluted cities are in our country. A huge change needs to happen. We have an average demand of three-wheelers of almost 6 to 7 million vehicles in India alone. In two-wheelers, we got a market over 12 million per year. On small commercial vehicles, the number are 5 to 6 million. The numbers are staggering, right? I don't want to talk about that. But what I do want to talk about is how green energy and sustainability is core to the heart of the government at the top level and at the bottom level. And we believe that hydrogen intelligence and companies from France that are involved in hydrogen should be looking at alliances. It was great to see President Macron just down in India, a few days ago at a 26th January parade, and the relationships and the brotherhood that I see and the sisterhood I see building between these countries. So I see a great future. And we at OSM, with our great French partners, have started that journey ahead of the President and the Prime Minister of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Uday. This explains well the potential of India. Philippe, could you tell us a little bit more what's happening between India and France? It started to create alliance. Could you talk about that?
Beyond your question, the point is our key challenge, I would say, is the cost. We have to decrease cost in order to develop our technologies. And the key to decrease the cost is massification. And it's a reason why these close links, which we see at the political level between President Modi and President Macron on the last year, on the 14th of July, and recently this this visit of President Macron in India, is a good sign for developing this cooperation. And we see that joining forces between India and France, we can achieve this massification and decrease cost, because we have to. The transportation is a key contributor to the emission of CO2. It's roughly 1/3 of the emission of CO2 in the world. And what is proposed here on this booth is part of the solution. Small mobility, last mile mobility, and we see here a strong activity, a clear activity towards this decrease of cost.
I like to add to that, and Philippe, you're absolutely right. If you want to go outside and if you want to get scale, you're talking about scale, and scale is going to come from primarily Asia, and it's going to come from parts of ASEAN, right? That's where, let me be clear, the numbers show that, right? I don't need to say that. So I think vehicles which are there for scale, the cost of hydrogen, that's the biggest question that you have. And to be able to develop, and I think what I'm really, really proud of, and I'm going to keep on saying, what I'm really, really proud of is this technology has been built by French engineers. And I think that's something that we all in France need to be proud of. I think there are so many new ideas. And this is where we can change a lot of work where with alliances in terms of even, SCV, the lower value up to the 1 ton to the 1.5 ton, where the volumes are there, and hydrogen can change that.
But if I may add some words, beyond what you say, collaboration is key. So we have to join forces. You mentioned French engineers, but there are also, of course, Indian engineers. And all together, I think we can build a better future.
Philippe, they say 1 and 1 is not 2. 1 and 1 is 11, right? So I think you're absolutely right, and I agree with that completely.
Thank you, guys. Just let me show you what we have done. We have done the first hydrogen electric three-wheeler. This vehicle have at least 500 kilometer autonomy. It can recharge in less than 10 minutes. And we can see just here the hydrogen tank and our own fuel cell developed in-house. This is a technology, a simple technology. We want to use light mobility application, so we want less maintenance as possible. We want something that works. Please, Uday, can you explain us how do you have the potential, the capacity at OSM to bring at scale this technology?
Today, we've been at this. I've been in this game for about close to a decade. Working and what I'm proud of is not maybe what OSM has achieved, but what I am doing in the front lines of India, Asia, and Africa. We're working in Latin America. What we have today, in the last 4 years, done is put over 10,500 vehicles on the ground today. There are 750 districts of that 1.4 billion population. I've got touch points at 300 places. Some of the places where they don't even have Wi-Fi, I've got vehicles of electric down there, right? So I think what we have done is we have understood the market, and what we have also understood clearly is, Philippe, which you were really talking about, is the pricing, right? The game is, in these countries, if you want to get scale, you cannot, like France or Germany or Canada, say, well, we're working on the environment. That person on the ground floor needs a cheaper, which we call TCO, total cost of ownership model. That's the most important part. And so we've cracked that code. We've put the vehicles. We've developed the charging infrastructure. We've got not just the central government, but the state governments to all align forces. And I'll tell you what we say in India, the movie is very late to start. The trailer hasn't even started. And we've got this kind of scale. My co-founder in Hydrogen Intelligent, Anton, was there. We got more green plates in India. In India, any vehicle that is green has a green plate that identifies. It's a badge of honor, right? For a lot of people that we see. And you are seeing green plates across not the major cities of Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore. But I'll take you to rural India, and where, there are farmers and there's some cows out there, and you'll see electric vehicles, because the only reason the total cost ownership model works. And that's where, but you Philippe, and I'm going to keep coming back to what you said, and I really appreciate from your thought process, last mile mobility, middle mobility is where the action is. Yes, the 35-ton trucks, the 50-ton trucks, that's great, but that's not where you're going to bring scale, right? Your price is going to be 200,000 euros. That's not where you're going to get scale. So we are going to be working on hydrogen intelligence with OSM providing all of those touch points to build a very large-scale hydrogen last and middle line mobility business in India.
Thank you. Philippe, can you explain us how France is ready? How France is ready with technology, all the industrial that are bringing at scale in France and that are ready to deploy. That's what happened in the last 3 years with all the investment that France is putting on hydrogen. Can you explain us how we can go ahead and develop in India our solutions?
Big progress were done during the last 3 years. The first hydrogen strategy was published in September 2020, and now it's being revised. It's being improved with some issues which were not addressed previously are now addressed. So we are on the good track. What we try to develop is a business without subsidies. And so the key is what Uday says is TCO. So transporters, shippers are not prepared to pay a premium. They are in a very competitive world, and they just cannot support it. So it's so simple. So we have to find solution where the TCO is at the level of alternative clean solutions. And for that, sorry to repeat, it's a massification, it's a collaboration, it's ways to develop the business, maybe initially with some subsidy, but at medium term without subsidies.
And I'll tell you what, that's exactly, I think I'm going to get you to maybe sit with Prime Minister Modi, because everything you're talking about is what makes sense. Don't give, and I think in any business that requires a crutch, to stand on, that's not a long-term business. But to start, give that initial push, build a public-private partnership, build that scale, and I think there are multiple ways of doing this. And I think that's where I think we, instead of, we say, don't talk the talk, but walk the talk. And I mean, we're going to walk it with building vehicles, with that, which you see here, many, many more in 1 ton and other trucks. And we're going to start putting pilot projects on the ground. And I'll tell you what, Philippe, you're going to be the first one when we do this, flagging off this for me. I'm not going to take anybody else, right? But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. What I would like to say, it's the vision of hydrogen intelligence. Hydrogen intelligence is a 50-50 company between France and India. We will work with French engineers, with Indian engineers. We will produce in France, we will produce in India. All the time, we will learn from each other, and the whole idea is to strengthen together to bring the best product as possible, and like you said, to bring at scale, because this is our biggest goal. So thank you guys for
one
being
last
here.
thing, one last thing. Everybody here, watch this young guy standing in front of me, Anton. He's the future, right? 5 years from now, watch this guy in France build hydrogen. So I'm really proud to be partners with him. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoine.